Pretty sure we're going to get sued for this one. All right, welcome back, Airbnb family. So we were this close to getting our memory card wiped at the Crescent Hotel in Dallas while we're shooting this video for you, which is design tips, things that you can take away from their hotel to help you improve your design. And we were able to sneak our footage onto my laptop while security was waiting to bring somebody else to try to sell us. Long story short, I think it was this letter. It would cost us $1,000 if we wanted to formally shoot this little YouTube skit for you. And we're not going to pay them $1,000 just to walk through their lobby for like 6 minutes. So without further ado, let's secret shop the Crescent Hotel, which just spent like $36 million renovating the inside of it, and learn some things about interior design. Let's get into it.
What I want to draw your attention to over here is if we walk this way, I think the goal was to keep you excited about the flowers, but then once you get to the center, you'll notice that up top we've got this line that cuts the entire building in half and goes all the way down towards the bar where you see that like blue backsplash. So they're using textures here and drawing this line, and this is like a continuity. So what they're using is they're using a continuity of hard lines in order to create this separation. But the separation is in order to create an axis. Now, they're doing something here called asymmetrical balance. It's almost symmetrical balance, and I'll tell you why. So if you notice here on this line, you've got chairs on the left, chairs on the right. They have identical coffee tables. Everything is essentially balanced and almost symmetrical. What they did is they swapped these chairs here just so that way they're not completely identical, and that creates a little bit of asymmetry in it, but it's still balanced. So symmetrical balance is if everything is actually completely identical on the left and right side. You can do this on a fireplace. You'll have two chairs on the side of a fireplace mantel, and if they're identical, that's symmetrical balance. But if you decided that you wanted to kind of change it up, and you had a love seat on the left, and then you had two chairs on the right, they still kind of occupy the same amount of space and are similar. That'd be asymmetrical balance, because it's still balanced, but not identical. Get it? So next is radial balance, and they do an example here. I think we have to go this way. Let's go this way. Okay. So an example of radial balance is actually right here. So if you notice, there's a coffee table in the center of this that's round, and then they've got 4 chairs. Those 4 chairs all face in to the center. And so if you're looking from the top down of this coffee table, it is balanced radially, like a circle. A lot of people use round designs to create this kind of look, and so round tables automatically have radial balance. So if you have a living room where you have a round table in the center and you have your chairs around the outside, you can actually decorate the walls accordingly to create some like an extra outer layer of radial balance as well. Another thing that you can look for is like unity and harmony. If we went to other parts of the Crescent Hotel or the building itself, you'd see similar color patterns and maybe even similar shapes. So for example, if we look down at the ground, you're going to notice that there's this marble, right? There's this brown and white and tan on the ground. So what they've done is they've used, if you go now to your left here, you're going to notice that they use a reflective gold a lot. You're going to see this on this mantle where they've got these gingerbread houses. You'll see that the revolving door in the front is gold, and you'll see that a lot of their accents, like the lamps, are gold. This is something that they're scattering throughout the entire place, even below the flowers here. And if we went throughout the rest of the building, we would see reflective gold. Even if we go across the street, which we're not going to go do, but that's where a lot of businesses are. The buildings all use this kind of gold look. And then, of course, they're using these shale colors and these grays and these tans. And this is kind of their neutral palette, that it's a lot easier to maintain unity throughout their whole design here. So what we are able to get from the Crescent building here is you can create continuity by creating similarities, which we've done with the top here. They're using hard edges along the center line, and it matches with the hard edges of the backsplash, creating that axis, and then using balance on both sides of that axis. They're using asymmetrical balance here with the chairs, and then radial balance with the coffee table. And then lastly, they're creating unity by using a few different colors, very soft neutral ones, and then allowing you to create focal points because the few colors that they use pop. Hey.
All right, so we just got stopped by security at this hotel. We're at the Crescent Hotel in Dallas, trying to take a look at their design ideas. And apparently there's something called a trade dress. It's a copyright that they own the look of the hotel. So if you want to do anything in the hotel that regards their look, you have to pay people for it. So we're waiting on a salesperson to come and tell us how much money it's going to cost to be allowed to be seen here or do whatever here.
Okay, because our journey at the Crescent got cut short due to security, I need to wrap up a couple points for you about design. I'm going to do it here at my building. I live at the Ascent in downtown Dallas. So we're talking about unity and harmony, and then we're also talking about detail, which is important. So detail is something that doesn't necessarily come out when you take your photos unless you get in tight on certain things and show your window shopper that you pay attention to the details. So if you pay attention to the details, I highly suggest that you take like macro up-close photos and put them on your Airbnb profile. But for now, let's first talk about unity and go from there. So at the Crescent, you notice that we talked about the mixed metals and their use of gold, and they're using a very tight color palette of neutral colors with like grays, and then of course they had with the stone on the floor with the whites and the tans and the browns. So they did this neutral palette, and then they used popping colors to create focal points. Well, here at my building, what you're going to see is that they use a lot of brown and black together, and they try to create this outdoorsy feel with the use of like antlers and fur and distressed leather and distressed wood. So you're going to see that here. But when we talk about details, you're going to notice that the distress is kind of one of those details that you could throw leather and wood together in a space, but if you just kind of do it generically, there's really no attention to the detail. You kind of overlook this idea, a chance to go above and beyond. So if you look at some of the fixtures and the build out for some of the spaces in my building, you're going to notice that they chose leather that's worn. They chose wood that looks distressed. They're choosing fabrics that are more rough, that have a deeper texture to it, so they play with light kind of in a uniform way with the distressed furniture. These are all ways to create unity, and throughout my whole building, you'll see the brown and black theme. You'll see the outdoors and the antlers and the wood. But then you'll also see their attention to detail to create that extra layer of continuity. So that way, when you're in a space, detail is important because when you're in the space, you're 3 feet from something, you're going to see things that you wouldn't have seen when you're 20 feet away. So the same thing works for your Airbnb profiles. When you take a photo, you can take a photo of the whole room, and so the colors might go well. You have a good design and continuity there. But when somebody steps into your building, are they going to really feel like you went above and beyond, or is it going to look cheap when they're standing in the living room? So detail is how when somebody's sitting on your couch, they're like, wow, I really like what they did with the place. The other design ideas like continuity and symmetry and balance, those all matter for the photos before they arrive. So to go above and beyond, the devil is in the details. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and I will see you on the other side.